In 1790, a new nation, the United States of America, sought a permanent home for its leader. The country was still in its infancy, having just emerged from the throes of the Revolutionary War. The need for a symbol of stability and unity was paramount. The leaders of this fledgling nation understood that a grand residence for the president would not only serve as a home, but also as a powerful emblem of the nation's ideals and aspirations. The Residence Act, signed by President George Washington, mandated a presidential palace. This act was a significant step in establishing a sense of permanence and authority for the executive branch of the government. It was a bold move, reflecting the vision and determination of the nation's first president, who was keenly aware of the importance of creating lasting institutions. This grand residence would symbolize the young nation's aspirations and serve as a beacon of democracy. It was intended to be more than just a home. It was to be a place where the principles of freedom and democracy would be enshrined and celebrated. The design and construction of this building were to reflect the values and ambitions of a nation that was determined to carve out its place in the world. A competition was held, and Irish-born architect James Hoban's design, inspired by classical architecture, was chosen. Hoban's vision was influenced by the neoclassical style, which was popular in Europe at the time and symbolized order, balance, and grandeur. His design was elegant and stately, featuring a central portico with Ionic columns, which would become one of the most recognizable features of the White House. Washington, D.C., a newly established capital city, was selected as the site for this ambitious project. The city itself was meticulously planned, with wide avenues and grand public spaces, reflecting the aspirations of the new nation. The selection of Washington, D.C. as the capital was a strategic decision, intended to represent the unity of the states and the centralization of the federal government. The location, on a rise overlooking the Potomac River, held strategic and symbolic importance. The site was chosen for its commanding views and its proximity to the river, which was a vital transportation route at the time. The elevated position of the White House was meant to symbolize the elevated ideals of the nation and its leaders. It represented the nation's growth and ambition, a stark contrast to the fledgling nation's recent struggle for independence. The construction of the White House was a testament to the resilience and determination of the American people, who had fought hard to secure their freedom and were now focused on building a strong and prosperous nation. The White House, as it would later be known, was not just a building, but an embodiment of the American dream. It stood as a symbol of hope and possibility, a place where the nation's highest ideals could be realized. The construction of the White House was a monumental task, requiring the labor and expertise of many skilled craftsmen and workers. The Founding Fathers envisioned a structure that would stand the test of time, reflecting the strength and resilience of the nation it represented. They wanted the White House to be a lasting symbol of the nation's commitment to democracy and freedom. The building was designed to be both functional and beautiful, with spacious rooms and elegant architectural details. The cornerstone was laid in October 1792, marking the beginning of a long and arduous construction process. This event was a significant milestone in the history of the United States, symbolizing the nation's commitment to building a strong and enduring government. The laying of the cornerstone was a moment of great pride and optimism for the American people. It was a monumental task, fraught with challenges, yet fueled by the unwavering belief in the future of the United States. The construction of the White House required the efforts of many skilled workers, including stonemasons, carpenters, and laborers. Despite the difficulties and setbacks, the project moved forward, driven by the determination and vision of the nation's leaders. The White House, from its very inception, became a tangible representation of the nation's hopes and aspirations. It was a place where the president could live and work, but it was also a symbol of the nation's commitment to democracy and freedom. The White House has stood the test of time, serving as the home of every U.S. president since John Adams and remaining a powerful symbol of the American dream. Aquia Creek Sandstone, quarried in Virginia, was chosen as the primary building material for the White House. This pale gray sandstone, known for its durability and resistance to weathering, provided a solid foundation for the grand residence. Timber, another readily available resource, was used extensively for framing and structural support throughout the building. Bricks, fired in nearby kilns, formed the interior walls, providing stability and essential fire resistance. The use of locally sourced materials not only reduced transportation costs, but also symbolized the nation's self-sufficiency and resourcefulness. Skilled artisans and laborers from across the newly formed nation were employed in the construction. Their craftsmanship and dedication were instrumental in bringing Hoban's grand vision to life. The construction process was a testament to the collaborative spirit of the young nation. From the quarrying of the sandstone to the laying of the bricks, each step involved the collective effort of countless individuals. James Hoban, the brilliant architect of the White House, played a pivotal role in overseeing the project. His meticulous planning and attention to detail ensured the structural integrity and aesthetic appeal of the building. He faced numerous challenges, including labor shortages, material delays, and budgetary constraints. Despite these significant obstacles, Hoban's determination never wavered. He worked tirelessly alongside skilled craftsmen, many of whom were enslaved Africans and European immigrants. Their contributions were essential to the completion of the White House. The construction of the White House was a monumental undertaking, requiring immense physical labor and skilled craftsmanship. Stonecutters, carpenters, masons, and laborers toiled for years, shaping raw materials into a magnificent residence. Their efforts stand as a testament to the human spirit and the power of collective endeavor. Section 4. Early defenses, protecting the seat of power. The White House, as the residence of the president and a symbol of American democracy, required protection from potential threats. In the early 1800s, the concept of security was vastly different from what we understand today. The threats were not as sophisticated, but the need to safeguard the president and the symbol of the nation was paramount. Early defensive measures were primarily focused on deterring common criminals and maintaining order. The idea was to create a sense of security without making the residence appear as a fortress. This approach was in line with the democratic ideals of the new nation, which valued openness and accessibility. A low stone wall, more symbolic than practical, surrounded the grounds. This wall was not designed to repel a determined attacker, but to delineate the boundary of the president's residence. It served as a psychological barrier, a subtle reminder that this was a place of importance. This wall, while offering little in the way of actual defense, marked the boundary of the president's domain and served as a visual reminder of the seat of power. It was a statement of presence rather than a deterrent to invasion. The wall's primary function was to signify the importance of the area it enclosed. A small contingent of guards, consisting of soldiers and local militia, provided security. These guards were not just for show. They were a necessary part of the early security measures. Their presence was intended to deter potential threats and to maintain a sense of order around the president's residence. Their presence, though limited, aimed to deter potential threats and maintain a sense of order. The guards patrolled the grounds, keeping an eye out for any suspicious activity. They were the first line of defense, a visible reminder that the White House was under protection. The White House, in its early years, was not heavily fortified. The building itself was designed to be a residence and a place of work, not a military stronghold. This lack of fortification was a deliberate choice, reflecting the values of the new nation. The Founding Fathers believed in a government that was accessible to the people, and they sought to balance security with openness. They wanted the president's residence to be a place that citizens could approach, a symbol of the democratic principles on which the nation was founded. The initial defenses reflected this delicate balance, prioritizing symbolic protection over formidable fortifications. The early security measures were a testament to the nation's commitment to its democratic ideals, even as it took steps to protect its leaders and its symbols of power. Section 5. Trial by Fire. The Burning of Washington. In 1814, during the War of 1812, the White House faced its greatest challenge. The young nation, still finding its footing, was thrust into a conflict that would test its resilience and resolve. British forces, having captured Washington, D.C., set fire to the White House in retaliation for the American attack on York, present-day Toronto. The British troops marched through the streets of the capital, their presence a stark reminder of the ongoing war and the vulnerabilities of the fledgling nation. The fire raged for hours, gutting the interior and leaving the exterior walls charred and cracked. Flames consumed the wooden structure, and the heat was so intense that it melted the glass windows and caused the roof to collapse. The once grand and stately residence was reduced to a smoldering shell. Only a torrential downpour prevented the complete destruction of the building. The rain, a fortuitous act of nature, helped to extinguish the flames and spared the White House from total annihilation. It was as if the heavens themselves intervened to save this symbol of the American spirit. The fire was a devastating blow to the young nation, both physically and symbolically. The destruction of the White House was more than just the loss of a building. It was an attack on the very heart of the nation. The charred ruins stood as a stark reminder of the fragility of the American experiment. The White House, a symbol of American resilience, lay in ruins. The sight of the once proud structure, now a blackened husk, was a sobering image for the citizens of the United States. It underscored the challenges that lay ahead and the need for unity and determination in the face of adversity. However, this tragic event also ignited a spirit of determination to rebuild and restore the nation's pride. The American people, undeterred by the destruction, rallied together to begin the arduous task of reconstruction. The rebuilding of the White House became a symbol of the nation's resilience and its commitment to overcoming adversity. The burning of the White House served as a harsh reminder of the need for improved defenses. The vulnerability of the nation's capital had been exposed, and it was clear that steps needed to be taken to protect it from future attacks. This realization spurred efforts to fortify the city and enhance its security measures. It highlighted the vulnerability of the nation's capital and the importance of protecting its symbols of democracy. The attack on Washington, D.C. was a wake-up call, emphasizing the need to safeguard the institutions that represented the ideals and values of the United States. This event would lead to significant changes in the White House's fortifications and security measures in the years to come. The lessons learned from the burning of Washington would shape the future of the nation's capital, ensuring that it would be better prepared to withstand any threats that might arise. The resilience and determination of the American people would shine through as they rebuilt and fortified their beloved White House, turning a moment of devastation into a testament to their enduring spirit.